Have a nice long stretch of nice weather, so there'll be more opportunities to get out and enjoy the beach. But yeah, lake turnover, it's very concerning if you don't exactly know what's going on, right? You're like, what happened here? But it's a natural process. It's just a stinky one. As we head through tomorrow and the beginning part of next week here, much of the same. Sunshine, highs around 80. We're going to start to heat up a little bit through midweek. A system's going to try to punch through, but I'm going to tell you why it's going to have an issue. Now, this is the best part of the forecast, in my opinion. The muggy meter. We're staying out of that humid tropical-like air, so it makes those temperatures in the 80s feel a lot more comfortable, especially if you're in the shade. But a reminder, the sunscreen will still be needed. At the Guardians game today, temperatures will be right around that 80-degree mark. We'll get a little bit of that lake breeze going this afternoon. The other thing I'm keeping an eye on, just because the weather is quiet, lots of folks are outside, is the air quality, because once we get that north wind going again this afternoon, that wildfire smoke is what we're watching that's up north in Canada. Air quality still not good for our friends to the north and west, portions of Illinois, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, the city there. Not great air quality, but still here we're in the good to moderate zone, meaning you shouldn't have too many issues. If you are sensitive to smoke, typically when we start to see the orange show up, that's when you want to stay inside. But it's something I'm keeping an eye on here, especially because a lot of folks are going to be outside. First alert Doppler radar and cloud cover, totally quiet again, just a few clouds over the lake. I want to zoom out and turn on the temperature tracker here, because this will show the big picture. Right over us is a big old area of high pressure, and it's essentially keeping this system away and this system to our south away. It just kind of made everything freeze. So all of the rain chance is going to be staying off to the west through the first part of the week and to our south. One of these systems is going to try to bust through on Wednesday, but it's going to have a tough time. So yard work, lots of opportunities to do it, but I will say by the time we get to the middle part of the week, some of the flowers in the yards may need a little bit of love. You may need to pull out the sprinkler. Now that's the day the system is going to try to push through. So isolated small chance, less than 20 right now for a shower or storm, mainly south of US 30 and west of 71, so our southern counties, but it's still not going to be a super measurable rain as we head through the middle part of the week. Temps will drop back down into the low 80s before we start to bring in a heat and humidity that could fuel some storms next weekend, but pretty much a 7-day forecast that is totally dry. We'll talk more about the air quality heading into this week coming up here in the next half hour.